Locksmith with a follow-up, recap, and post-analysis of UFC 70, Nations Collide. Overall, I think this was an alright UFC event. Some good upsets. I mean, it was a crazy main event. Nobody expected what happened. Gonzaga getting the win by the most unexpected method of victory, which is a KO by head kick. Wow, did Krokop go down hard. I knew his chin was questionable somewhat. He's been knocked out before, but I don't think anybody expected that type of kick, you know, going over his guard and straight to the temple. He goes down hard. His knee looks like some, you know, discombobulated pretzel, but it seems like he was alright. I haven't really checked on the updates of that. He got up after the fight, and I saw him standing, walking alright. Brutal. What did I anticipate for that fight? I told you that the line wasn't worth betting there, you know. So we stayed away from it. You know, I predicted Krokop to win, but I told you that Gonzaga takes it to the ground, he's got a very good chance of winning. And what he did is he took it to the ground, he pounded it down once he got up, which was kind of a weird breakup there. Maybe because they were trying to push the action, because some of the other events were somewhat a little slow, you know, a little more conservative in styles. So maybe they wanted to make sure the main event didn't disappoint as well. So I thought that was kind of a rare stand-up as far as that goes. You know, Gonzaga was pushing some of the action there on the ground and getting some good shots in. All of a sudden they raise him. Well, it didn't matter. He comes out and he gives him a great leg kick to the head. Done. Now, what does this mean for the UFC? First off, some of the fights were somewhat boring to maybe the average viewer, so it didn't really look too well, especially since the UFC gave this one away free here on Spike. Maybe that's another reason why they're trying to push the action even more and more, trying to get more people excited. With somebody that hasn't watched any of the UFC events, you bring them into this event and they see it somewhat as a, you know, possibility for breakouts and big knockouts, but most of the fights were a little slow, you know, a little tame. So we'll see what happens. You know, I'm suggesting somewhat of a change to the UFC. Maybe an extra round in some of these matches. It seems like these matches should be going longer, more rounds, because of the fact that some of the first rounds are becoming way too slow in the feel-out process, and everybody's trying to counterpunch, and nobody's really taking the initiative to drive to try to take somebody down anymore. It seems like everybody just stands up, tries to get some leg kicks in. We'll see. I mean, it could have just been a couple events, but we'll see where it goes from there. Let's talk about how I did with the betting strategies, my picks, and how they went. First one, I told you, Krokop. I predicted Krokop, but I told you Gonzaga was not getting his due respect. The line was way too big. Go ahead and avoid that as a bet. If you really wanted to, I told you to take it small if you had the urge to bet the main event, which a lot of people do. But I told you that it really wasn't worth it. Gonzaga gets it done there. Let's go on with the next match. I'm going to go with the, in order of viewing, the Congo match. I told you Congo was going to get the upset here. I told you to take a bet there. You're getting them at plus. And what happened there? Congo gets it done. You know, a very kind of slow matchup there. Silva got those takedowns, but Congo kind of had the match dominated. Even when Silva took him down, slammed him, he would always have his neck tied up and really couldn't get anything going offensively. You know, Congo did what he had to do to win that match. I think Silva's done. I don't really see him coming back to the UFC. Like I told you, if he loses this match, which I thought he would, he's not coming back. That was the case there. We get some good positive gain there. I told you I made some good money on this UFC. You know, I hope you guys took my advice and also made some good money. It was a great day for me in sports, and then the UFC capped it off as well. Made some good amount of money there. Let's go on with the Machida matchup. That was my big play of the day. I told you Machida was going to get it done. I guaranteed it. I told you to go ahead and take him huge. That was my big bet of the event, and he got it done all right. And how did he get it done? Boring. It was a very boring match. Third round, he came out, and at the end, he put a little power into it. But like I told you, Machida gets it done the way he needs to get it done. The way he needs to get it done. I mean, sometimes it's boring, sometimes it's flashy. He studies his opponents well, and he does what he has to do to win. And that's what he did. He got the victory. Sometimes it's boring. Sometimes it's not exciting. But he gets the victory. That's why I told you to lay the money with him. He was going to get it done, no matter what the line was there. And it was a favorable line. I thought he had he didn't have a chance of upset as much as Gonzaga did, or any of the other matches. So I told you, for the line being, that was a great line to take. Let's go on with the Sinosik-Bisping match. I told you the pick was Bisping, and I told you to stay away from this line. The line was way too big. What can I say? Bisping came out there, and he did what he had to do. He came out, destructed him, conquered the match, owned him, had control of the match pretty much 90% of the time. The only slip-up was where he almost got his arm, into a bad situation. Could have gotten tapped out, but he rose from it, got it done, and kept, using the ground and pound very well. Bisping got it done in front of his crowd. He had good energy in that match. He got it done. Next match, the Pitbull Werdum matchup. I told you that this matchup was very hard to predict. Another kind of slow matchup, kind of boring for people that like the full excitement. It seemed like this was a hard feel-out period. The commentators made it look like Pitbull was really dominating this match. I thought he was winning the match, but Werdum was in there. I thought, he came out with those flurries. He backed the Pitbull up a couple of times. Andre did win the match, but I mean, Joe Rogan and the rest of the commentators made it seem like Werdum wasn't even in the match. Like Andre was dominating completely, and I didn't see that as the case. He did get it done. Werdum kind of slow, and Andre looked good. He looked he comes out in great shape as always, and he seemed to have a great game plan. He stuck to it, and he got it done. I mean, it wasn't too exciting, not what we're accustomed to. Came out with a couple shots, a lot of leg kicks. The leg kicks were very effective for him in this match, and he gets the win there. I predicted Werdum there to win, so we dropped that one. I told you if you were going to bet it, go ahead and take a small bet on Werdum. Fortunately, we dropped that one. That was the drop that we had, but the line wasn't bad. It actually, Andre near the end of the matchup, near the end of the betting lines, actually became favored. So if you waited on it and took them, you didn't lose too much, and you got the gain from the Machida match and the gain from the Congo match to overcast that, and you were still on the positive side. And then back to the main event. Gonzaga came out, had a great game plan, must have studied it well. And also, Crow Cobb looked a little sluggish. I mean, I know it's easy to say now, but what I'm saying is he came out there, he looked a little sluggish, he looked a little small. Gonzaga looked like a way bigger guy. I don't know if Gonzaga felt uncomfortable in the cage. He didn't look like his normal self. He didn't look as intimidating as he did in Pride. He came out, I guess, flat-footed, you could say. He didn't look up to his old self. And Gonzaga came out there confident, good game plan, got it done. Congratulations to Gonzaga. It's going to be a good matchup with Couture. I mean, now I think people are going to take it more seriously. And the good thing about this little upsets here in the main event are that I think we're going to get favorable lines now in some of the main events where the people are going to be favored. We might get, the minus 200, 300 zone where if GSP and Crow Cop would have gotten done, we would have been paying way too much. So we're going to keep an eye out on some of these main events, some of these matchups where somebody might be dominated, and go ahead and slip in a good bet, make some money there. But guys, that's all I got for you today. I hope you guys liked the recap as well as the original analysis. Visit Locksmith.